Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis and I am the owner of Mad Moody Quilting Fabrics. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how I do my mitered corners. Now I've already put the borders on and I'll explain how to do that and how to do the math, and then I'm going to show you how to do a perfect miter. And it's perfect 99% of the time. I don't have a problem. I'm going to switch to the upper camera. And I'm just going to flip that there. Okay, so I want to make a nice miter there. Okay, so I've already put the borders on, but I'm going to give you a verbal run through. So what you want to do is you want to measure from side to side down the center of the body of the quilt. Don't measure the edge, because that edge could be stretched or warped a little bit. So you want to measure the center, okay, from side to side and top to bottom. Take note of those measurements. Remove a ½ inch for seam allowance, because we're not going to sew right off to the edge. We are going to stop on either side of the edge, on either side. We're going to stop a ½ inch away. Okay, and that it looks like that. Okay, we're going to stop a ½ inch from this edge, and then we're going to stop. This is more than a ½ inch, so I have to sew that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get rid of some of these. I hate threads, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, and I'm going to actually fix this because it's come undone a little bit. Hold on. There we go. So I'm going to get that a little closer. Let me switch to the camera. Okay, so I'm going to get this seam a little closer. Let me turn on the sewing machine because that helps. I want a slightly longer, because I think I'm going to leave it at the 2.2. Yeah. All right. Stop playing, Phyllis. All right. So I'm just going to fix this corner because it's not sewn to the ½ inch. It stopped just before the ½ inch. And I want to make sure that we are sewn right to that edge. So I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to sew right to that edge. Okay. And then we're going to switch it back, and that's it. Okay, so that will make a much better mitered corner, making sure that you have those edges correct. All right, so let me put this down. So you would measure, you would take a ½ inch off, and in my case it came to 38 inches. You would divide that number in half, which is 19. You would take your border fabric and you would find the center of your strip and put a pin there, and you would find the center of the body of your quilt, and you would put a pin there, and then you would line those up. But before you do that, you're going to, let's just pretend you're going to have a pin. This is my center, and you're going to measure from the center out whatever the number is. In my case, it's 19 inches, and you're going to put a pin there. Then you're going to go to the other side of the border, and you're going to measure from the pin, the center, out by 19, or whatever measurement you come up, and you're going to put a pin there. And then once that is done, you start pinning the border strip to your body of your quilt. I like to make sure that I have put pins in equally. Now, if in my case, I did not have any warpage on the edge of my quilt, so I didn't have anything to ease in. But if you do, you want to ease it in across the space equally with pins, and then you are going to put the one that has the more fabric, you're going to put that against your feed dogs and let the feed dogs feed that in. So you will start You'll start a 1/4 inch away from the raw edge of the body. You will sew to the other side and stop at a 1/4 inch before the raw edge of the body of the quilt. If you have borders already there, so let's say you put your first border on, you're putting your next border on, you want to stop a 1/4 inch from the seam of the body. I don't know if you can see that right here. You want to stop a 1/4 inch at that seam. So basically your last stitch is almost, if not touching that ditch. Okay, that's what you want. You don't want to overstep. You don't want to stitch too far away, because then you'll get a gap. And if you stitch over the border, this border here, if you're sewing along here and you sew into this border right here, then what will happen is that you'll get a pleat. Okay, so now let me show you, once you get all 4 borders on, then we're going to do our mitered corners. So what we want to do is we want to I want to make sure that this edge here, let me just move this a little more over, because I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. And I don't have a lot of space here. I usually, when I'm doing this without filming, I have loads of space to play with and move and lay things out. So I'm trying to make sure that this edge is straight. I want to make sure that I visually see this edge all the way up is straight. I want to also make sure that this edge along here, the seam, off to the extra. Now, that was the other thing I didn't mention. When you prep your borders length, okay, you will take the measurement of your body, and that's the center measurement, and you're going to add twice whatever for either side, so 4 times whatever width your border has been cut to. These are way longer than I need. So my border was cut at 8.5, and my body is 38. So 38 plus 8.5, 4 times. You're going to add it 4 times. So you'd have it twice on this side, twice on the other side of your border. And there's a reason. You need to have the width, this width, to be able to go out this way. Okay, so you need that extra, because if you do not give yourself that extra, then it's not going to line up at this corner here. It's not going to line up. So you really need to make sure that your border is going to, you have enough fabric out this way and out that way. And as you can see, I have more than I need. I always do. I just give myself a little more. I actually take whatever the width. So let's say, for example, you want a 5-inch border and your body measures 38 in my case, and you would add 10 inches for this side, 10 inches for that side. You are covered. You do not have to worry about, is it going to be enough or not. You have 5 inches more than you need. So that's how I do it. So now I make sure when I'm going to get ready to put this miter in and sew this in, I make sure that this is 90 degrees to this. I make sure that this edge looks straight. I make sure that this edge looks straight and this edge looks straight, and of course this edge. Now, this is where the magic comes. You want to fold this under this way, So this is right sides to that. So you want this right side touching that right side. So you're literally putting right sides together. So I'm just going to get this folded. And it's very important that this is straight. And the reason is because we're going to use it to make sure that we get our 45-degree angle right there. And I'm going to just, there we go. So once you get this, once you get it so it lines up here on either side, you've got a nice 45 here happening. You can just go in and iron this down. And there you go. So you flipped it, right sides together. You still have your right sides facing up here, but you have the right side there touching this border. It's right sides together. And then you have you steamed in your seam allowance. You're steamed in your line of where you're going to sew. Now, you're going to take this, and you see that I have my hand there. I don't want this to shift on me. So we want to take this and get this lined up like this. And we're going to get these seams right here out of the way. We don't want to sew them down. Now I'm going to take my pins, and I'm making sure that when I pin things together that I'm not shifting or lifting too much. I don't want things to move on me. So we're going to pin, and we're going to continue pinning. And we're going to make sure that things are not going to lift or move on me. We don't want that folded line moving too much. So I've always got a hand on it. I'm always making sure that I might have to lift it, but I don't want the fabric to come away from each other. And I want to really make sure that that is sewn properly. All right, so there we are. I'm going to switch to the sewing machine camera. There we go. And we're going to sew this together. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but you want to start right beside the seam, the seam here, this seam right here, okay? So I'm going to, okay, just, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera, but, all right, so I'm just going to make sure that I don't want this, I'm going to fuss with this. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, the stupid pins come out. Okay. All right. So I want to make sure that when I plant my needle, I'm planting it so it touches, or it's just right there in front of, and there we go. I'll put my foot down, and we're going to start sewing this. And I'm just following that folded line and making sure you hear the rain. It's coming down. Taking out the pins as I approach them. And I'm making sure, and I'm trying not to stretch or do anything to distort this. And I'm just going to sew right, and I think I forgot to back stitch. I should have back stitched. So I'm going to go probably back. I'm going to back stitch here, and I probably will go back. And yeah, I did forget to back stitch. So we're just going to do a quick back stitch right here. And again, I'm going to try to get, oh, look at that. I'm so good. And I'm just going to stitch over and do a little quick back stitch. And there we go. And that's it. That's all. That's all they wrote. And I'm just going to clean this up before I'm going to just clean this extra threads up. And I'm going to open this up. Before I cut anything off, I want to open this up and double check to make sure that that corner is okay. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this corner here. See, I can still see that there's 90 degrees here, but I'm looking at here. I want to make sure that I haven't sewn over anything, and I have a thread there I want to get rid of. So I'm just going to get rid of that, and there we go. So now I know that that is correct. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to eyeball a 1/4 inch cut. And there we go. That's extra, goes into the stash. I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to figure out which way I want that seam to go. And it seems to lie flattest by pushing the seam that way. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, that is perfect. That is perfect. So a little fussing and you end up with a perfect mitered corner. So that is it, and that's how I do my mitered corners. Super simple, not too hard, and there's no marking, there's no drawing, there's no, finding your 45 and drawing it in. You just use an iron to place that in, you put the pins down, and you will be 99%. Once you have mastered it, you will have perfect mitered corners 99% of the time. So we'll see you. And the next time, I hope to do a video with this quilt on how I'm going to quilt it. So check out, because I've done this quilt, I did tutorials on how this quilt went together. So check those out. I think it was three episodes on how to do this quilt. So you go check those out. And if you want to see more of these videos, ring the bell. Subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of when I upload. I upload on Friday mornings, a video every Friday mornings. So if you want to see more of these tutorials, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next tutorial. Bye. Happy quilting. Bye-bye.